For many designers, the path to an ecologically sound future has led to a new integrated vision of architecture and community.
It really came down to designing a neighborhood because most of the changes that needed to be made were in the neighborhood communities. And so the goal was to do something to be able to have less energy consumption, to create more of a sense of a community. In this country, the sense of community in most neighborhoods was basically just gone.
In Davis, California's Village Homes, the physical layout is designed to integrate the buildings with the natural setting and the individual with the community.
All of the streets are laid out in a primarily east-west direction, which means the lots are oriented essentially north and south. This makes it possible to locate most of the windows on the south side of the house for capturing winter sunshine. Overhangs are designed to keep out summer sun so that we're not cooling or have unnecessary cooling loads. The streets are narrower. Narrower streets are easier to shade, and the street trees were selected and planted in such a way that they will shade the streets, keeping the overall microclimate a lot more comfortable here. The common areas that are shared between homes are a really critical part of what's happening here. They physically lend themselves to a lot of other kinds of interactions between people. And I don't think it would be possible to have the same kind of interaction between neighbors without having that physical setting.
To do this, we had to break a lot of rules. Long, narrow cul-de-sacs, drainage that ran on the surface, intermixing food production with housing, smaller lots, higher densities in some places. And it seems like this broke every rule that FHA had in terms of making loans on subdivisions. It broke all the planning rules that public works directors go with. Banks were very suspicious because it didn't really match what they had seen before. So it was a tremendous headache. It took 3 years to get approval and financing for the project, enough to discourage most people. But it seemed important enough of an idea to just keep plugging away, and eventually we got it going. And the amazing thing is, once we started building it, we found that people wanted to buy it.
The codes have to change, but actually before the change happens, a consensus, a vision of a different future really has to coalesce. And that vision has to be shared not just by a group of radical environmentalists or by a self-interested group of developers or some politicians. It has to be comprehensive. It has to be seen as the chosen way of life.